It sounds like the ultimate cheat code to reality. An infinite money glitch. If a government needs to build new roads, fund massive hospitals, or completely eliminate the national debt, why do they bother collecting taxes? Why not just turn on the printing press and print money forever? It is a fascinating what if. But reality and economics have an undefeated track record against this idea. If a government were to print money endlessly, it wouldn't create a utopia. It would trigger a predictable, devastating chain reaction that ends in the total collapse of society. Welcome to the secret life of simple things. Today, we are exploring the invisible mechanics of wealth. We are going to break down exactly what happens when the printing press never stops, the illusion of the sugar rush, and why pieces of paper can suddenly become completely worthless. At the very beginning, printing money actually feels incredible. The government injects billions of fresh dollars into the economy. They build massive infrastructure projects, hand out generous stimulus checks, and pay off domestic debts. Suddenly, everyday consumers have overflowing bank accounts. Because everyone feels rich, the demand for goods skyrockets. People rush to buy cars, houses, new appliances, and premium food. For a brief, shining moment, the economy looks like it is booming. But there is a massive, hidden mathematical problem. The amount of actual stuff in the world hasn't changed. To understand the glitch, we have to look at what money actually is. Money is not wealth. Wealth is the actual wheat harvested from the fields, the steel forged in factories, and the software coded by engineers. Money is simply a ticket. It is an information system used to exchange those real goods and services. When you double the amount of tickets in circulation without doubling the amount of goods, you trigger the fundamental definition of inflation. Too much money chasing too few goods. The car dealership suddenly notices that 500 people are trying to buy their 50 cars. To prevent running out of stock instantly, they raise the price. As the cost of groceries and rent goes up, workers demand higher wages just to survive. To afford those higher wages, businesses are forced to raise prices again. The spiral has begun. Wait, if printing money eventually destroys the economy, why do governments historically keep doing it? Because it doesn't destroy the economy for everyone. In the 18th century, a brilliant economist named Richard Cantillon noticed a hidden mechanical glitch in the system. When new money is created, it doesn't magically appear in everyone's wallet at the exact same time. It enters the system from the top down. The government, massive banks, and giant corporations get access to the new money first. And here is the unfair advantage. They get to spend this new money before the prices of goods have gone up. By the time that printed money trickles down to the average factory worker or teacher, inflation has already hit the supermarket. The rich use the early printed money to buy physical assets like real estate, gold, and stocks at cheap prices. The middle class is left paying the new, inflated prices with their old, stagnant wages. Endless money printing isn't just an economic mistake, it is an invisible tax that secretly transfers wealth from the bottom to the very top. If the government refuses to stop the printing press to keep up with these rising costs, standard inflation mutates into hyperinflation. This is the point of no return. The currency begins to lose its value by the hour. History is full of these terrifying cautionary tales. In Germany's Weimar Republic in 1923, the government printed so much money to pay war debts that citizens literally used stacks of cash as firewood because the paper was cheaper than buying actual wood. In Zimbabwe, in 2008, inflation reached an estimated 79.6 billion%. The government was forced to print a mind-boggling $100 trillion note. And it wasn't even enough to buy a single loaf of bread. When the official currency becomes a joke, society doesn't just sit down and give up. Humans are incredibly adaptable survivalists. A shadow economy instantly forms. Citizens completely abandon the government's paper and adopt a new, unofficial, hard currency. Sometimes it is a stable foreign currency like the US dollar or the euro, but often it gets much weirder. In hyper-inflated economies, physical, useful, everyday items become the new cash. Cigarettes, bottles of cooking oil, laundry detergent, and even instant coffee become the ultimate stores of value. You might get paid your salary on Friday, immediately sprint to the store, and buy 50 bottles of shampoo. Not because your hair is dirty, but because physical shampoo holds its value while the printed paper in your pocket will be completely worthless by Monday morning. But the most tragic side effect of infinite money printing isn't just expensive bread or hoarding shampoo. It is the instantaneous destruction of the middle class and the erasure of time. Think about your savings. When you put money in the bank, you are storing your past human energy. You are saving the hours of your life that you traded for that cash. Imagine you worked for 40 brutal years to save $500,000 for your retirement. If the government prints money until a gallon of milk costs $100,000, your entire life savings is suddenly worth exactly 5 gallons of milk. Your wealth wasn't physically stolen by a bank robber, but its purchasing power, the literal value of your lifespan, was completely evaporated by the printing press. Eventually, the math breaks down completely. The currency loses the single most important invisible element it needs to function: trust. When people no longer trust that a piece of paper will hold its value until tomorrow, they refuse to accept it today. Grocery stores empty their shelves and close their doors entirely. Printing money is the economic equivalent of trying to quench your thirst by drinking salt water. It gives the temporary illusion of relief, but it ultimately destroys the system from the inside out. True wealth cannot be printed on a press. It can only be produced. Thank you for watching The Secret Life of Simple Things. If you want to uncover more hidden mechanics of our everyday world, hit the like button and subscribe. See you in the next mystery!